Tonight, Paris Saint-Germain, tonight, you've moved me. I've been moved by the football I've seen. I've been moved by the genius, the brilliance. As fans, a lot of us have felt like this modern day football just doesn't quite live up to the memories of the football we were raised on. And this showcase, this 5-star perfect performance from Paris Saint-Germain tonight, not going to lie, it's made me fall in love with the game again. Tonight, all of us were blessed. All of us got to witness the highest scoring final in Champions League history. All of us got to witness one of the most perfect performances of football in our lifetime. And it's something that we need to savor. It's something that we can't forget. This is a moment we have to be present for. This is a moment that we have to relive. We have to embrace. We have to talk about. Because Paris Saint-Germain tonight, for the near misses, the promises, the heartbreak, the lofty expectations, yeah? Their fans have been through a lot. They've been the laughingstock of the Champions League. The laughingstock. But today, they have the final laugh. Today, all that pain, all that frustration, it was worth it. It was all worth it for this final performance you saw from your team, one of the greatest ever performances you will probably ever see in your entire lives. This is what we've witnessed today. This isn't hyperbole. I need to say it for what it is. I feel like in the moments like this, we don't necessarily comprehend what we're witnessing. We don't let it sink in enough. But today, we have witnessed something special that a lot of us will never forget for a very long time. And I have to say thank you, Paris Saint-Germain, for being the absolute breath of fresh air in Europe. The best team in the world. They have now set the benchmark. They are now at the top, yeah? Paris Saint-Germain, this is their world now. This is their football planet. And today, we can thank Désiré Doué. Oh, my Lord, this team. This is a future Ballon d'Or winner that we're seeing. And I had to boo a little bit that Enrique didn't allow this kid to get his hat-trick, which he probably could have got, and really just cement himself in football history. We saw great goals from Hakimi, Kvaratskhelia, and Mayulu, the youth academy grad coming on to bag the 5th goal. This was the perfect performance, yeah? Their academy can celebrate, yeah? The young players can celebrate. The seniors can celebrate. The guys who have been here for a long time, who have been there throughout all the heartbreak, yeah? This is a win for the entire institution, a win for everyone. And as I said, at the moment, they're probably the best football institution and have the best project in the world. And when you perform this way, yeah, how do you improve this team? Look at the age this squad is. Look how young this team is. They're only going to get better. That's the scary thing, man. That is the scariest thing. They will only get better. They will only improve. They will only step up. How many players on this planet are coming into the Paris Saint-Germain team and improving things or getting in over most of these players? Who's really doing that? What, Yamal? You're talking about this caliber of player, a Bellingham? Like, only like top 5, top 10 quality is enough to be able to get into this team right now. And even then, is it worth it? When they got intelligence at the top right now, Luis Campos, yeah, working in tandem with Luis Enrique. I can't believe the disrespect Enrique was getting about his legacy. He did phenomenal things with Barcelona. But let's not forget that incredible final against Juventus. Yeah, he produced one of the greatest front threes we've seen in modern day football, in your Neymars, Messi's and Suarez's. It's a skill to be able to platform your genius players, your best players to shine and become the team. That's a skill. Many managers have had access to top players, but they've not been able to do that. They've not been able to. It's good that he rightfully now is earmarked and celebrated to be one of the top managers of our generation, because the way he has got this Paris Saint-Germain team purring, playing, this is the type of football I dream about sometimes. I'm not going to lie. You know, in the Premier League, we just see so much of this start-stop, high-intensity, running box-to-box football where, yes, high energy, high emotion, but is the football quality always there? Yeah? Is it always there? We're seeing Marmoush getting goal of the season for a long-range shot outside the box. Once upon a time in the Premier League, this was your goal of the month nomination. This wasn't winning you goal of the season. So it kind of tells you what's happening with the football at the moment. But this is where Paris Saint-Germain, I kind of just like refreshing my football memories now, because the way Enrique's got them playing this vertical tiki-taka, to break it down very simply, yeah, when they're on the ball, it's not played sideways to sideways as the team incrementally just moves up the field. No, 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 no. They play forwards and backwards. It's about baiting out the opposition to come onto the ball, yeah? Look how deep their setup is when it comes to receiving out from their goalkeeper. Look how deep their centre backs, they receive inside their own box. That's how much faith, coaching, preparation that Enrique has drilled into this team. But to make this type of beautiful football work, you need to have the players there equally. And he can thank the Paris Saint-Germain directors and Luis Campos for being his support and his backup. It's not easy to move on from the Neymar, Messi, recently Kylian Mbappe era to then become a team outside of that. But this has been the beautiful thing about that. You look back now and you think to yourself, could Kylian Mbappe realistically, like, would they have been the same team if he was still here with them? Could they play the same way? Was he just too suffocating of a presence to allow Paris Saint-Germain to really go and show what they're really about? I don't think so. And I wonder what he's thinking now. After he's left them on a free, they've received no money from him. I know they have the legal issues right now in terms of like money, wages and things like this. Sorry guys, I feel like I've got a sneeze coming right now, which is really annoying because I can't stop this recording. Everything's real time, everything's fresh. The reaction has to be pure. It has to be honest after this football I've seen today. But I feel like I'm controlling things now. Thank you. But going back to Mbappe, it's a reminder, man, that team in this game trumps everything. You can have the best player in the world, the best two, the best three. Paris Saint-Germain literally were the embodiment of that in Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. And they still did nothing because having the best individuals doesn't make you the best team. But this is where there was unity shown across the coach, the directors, yeah? The guys, the Paris Saint-Germain owners, where they realized this is how we have to become now that we've got rid of this star talent, of these football powerhouses, yeah? We must become a team. And now they've produced the greatest team in the world right now. The fluidity, the understanding of their play. Going back to my point about the vertical tiki-taka that you see, Enrique really just takes these methods to the next level in terms of how he encourages non-stop, super fluid, rotational football. I mean, did you see in this game today that it was Hakimi who broke the scoring today? How often are you seeing Hakimi receiving out wide, coming inside with the ball? When he does that, then Neves knows automatically to then hold the right wing position, and then you'll see Ousmane Dembele even drop into midfield. This is like next level execution and coaching. And I've always thought to myself, why isn't football allowed to be played this way, considering, use the Premier League, for example, the money, the wages, everything, that league hoovers up the best talents, but does the football necessarily really expand and show the quality of the player at its purest? I'm not too sure. And I think a lot of that can stem from how they're allowed to play. Because with Paris Saint-Germain, they constantly ask questions of their football. And you see that with the non-stop fluid rotational plays. I mean, you're seeing Dembele on the left-hand side, the right-hand side, and then playing false nine. You're seeing Kvaratskhelia doing the same things. You're seeing Désiré Doué doing the same stuff. And their midfield, it supports it in tandem with Vitinha, Neves, and Ruiz. Perfectly comfortable in every zone on that field. And it means that when Paris Saint-Germain find solutions to play through the press, to play through midfield lines, yeah, they're constantly able to find new answers to the defensive structures they have to break down because the manager encourages them and tells them, this is how you move off the ball. This is how you move on the ball. This is how you pass the ball. This is how you play as a team. And in a sense, they're like this, like one fluid, like membrane of a team, right? I'm trying to find the perfect way to encapsulate the way they play, but they're just like this fluid, autonomous membrane, which kind of like moves in tandem together in like complete unity. And I think this is why we saw the footballing showcase that we saw tonight with an Inter Milan team who are very much the opposite, about structure. really curated attacks. The use of their wingbacks were absolutely nullified today by Enrique, and boy, did he do that. Overloading the sides. I love that Paris Saint-Germain do that, yeah? They play without a striker. Makes it super hard for a team like Inter Milan to know who to pick up, who to mark, when to step out to leave their defensive shape. This is what I mean by Enrique constantly asking the opposition questions. How are you going to deal with this now? Okay, Dembele is inside. What are you saying now? Oh, no, now it's Désiré Doué. Oh, now we got Hakimi. And now we got Neves doubling up on the right-hand side. And the three attackers are together now on the left-hand side. What are you saying right now? Teams can't cope against that. And this is where it's the manager showing this complete manifestation of like player expression and core ideas. And I think this is why the players from Paris Saint-Germain have completely bought into this style. Because when you play this way, it's like everyone is the champion at the same time, Everyone gets to win on the field. No one has to play a sacrificial role for the sake of someone else to be better. They all get to play as the best, and they take turns doing that. That is the beauty behind the coaching and the methodology that Enrique has created in this team tonight. And like I said, this is a rare type of game we might not ever see for another 10, even 20 years yet. The fact that this is the highest scoring final in the Champions League history sums it up in terms of the rarity behind what we have just witnessed today. But my friends, I can completely go on and just eulogize Paris Saint-Germain for another 20 minutes. I'm in love with this team. But I feel like to just do this review right, we have to discuss some of the performances today. I want to give the low-key performance today, and that is to Nuno Mendes. You have to understand that Paris Saint-Germain were targeting DeMarco's right-hand side, yeah? And they did that because they know Dumfries has been one of the best players in the Champions League. He's an unstoppable force when you give him time and space and momentum on the ball. He's been scoring key goals for fun. He really is that good. Mendes, as he's shown throughout the Champions League, he has to have the defensive responsibilities to stay a little bit deeper. Enrique knows with his pace, when there's opportunities to make those third-man runs and overlaps to stretch the play at the right times and opportunities, he will be there. He will do that. But by having that, it really just stopped that outlet out wide for Dumfries to really take control in. And it put more pressure on DeMarco because DeMarco still has to get up the field. But now he's getting suffocated. Now the passing options aren't there. And now he's kind of getting isolated. The game plan worked completely beautifully. On top of that, I thought Kvaratskhelia, as I was saying, he really embodied my thoughts on the game about how everyone gets to become a star. Because a lot of times he was tasked, especially in that first half, with just occupying the spaces of Inter's, I think, right wing back and wide centre back, just pinning them all the time. That was his job for most of the time because most of the great things PSG did was to overload the right-hand side. And that worked perfectly with the 2 goals that Paris Saint-Germain scored in the first half, which essentially won them the final. I mean, come on. After the first goal that Hakimi scored, bombing down, making the overlap on the right-hand side, coming from that great build-up down the left-hand side, which, as I stress, involved the late arrival of Mendes, Kvaratskhelia's involvement. Of course, completely attracted the attention of Paris Saint-Germain, Inter Milan's defense, which allowed that space for Hakimi to attack and get the opening goal. That rattled Inter Milan because you think to yourself, crap, this is going to be a long night for us. This is what we were trying to avoid. And they kind of maybe were a bit hasty in trying to get back into the game a bit too soon. I think for a team like Inter, you have to respect your limitations because they got exposed. They got exposed terribly today. I was feeling kind of sorry for them. I didn't think the Inter Milan players deserve a defeat this humbling and embarrassing. It's one of those defeats where, sadly, it will be in your nightmares forever. You're never going to forget that. You'll start questioning, like, your whole identity as a player when you lose a final on this occasion with this magnitude. Oh, I feel for these, man. I'm not going to lie. But again, this allowed the breakaway for Désiré Doué, a slight deflection off DeMarco, and the game was essentially sealed. But then from that point forward, we saw great goals. Second half opened up even more. I think maybe Inzaghi, listen, you're 2-0 down. It's easy for me to say in hindsight right now. Maybe he forced things a bit too much, but you have to get back in the game. It's a one-off final. It is what it is. But sadly, this is exactly why teams have respected Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. When Arteta was getting criticism from Arsenal fans who could just overdo it sometimes with their unrealistic expectations and false promises that they believe in, there's a reason why he had to respect the threat of Paris Saint-Germain, because this is what can happen. This is how they can destroy you. This is how they can tear you apart. And sadly, Inter Milan felt the consequences in that second half. I mean, the goals you then saw from Désiré Doué again, I mean, probably the goal of the game. One touch passing, kick started by Dembele, dropping deep, back heel into the feet of Vitinha. Receives it perfectly first time, plays it first time to Désiré Doué, and Doué. I don't know if the Paris Saint-Germain players have practiced their near-post efforts and shots. Maybe this is a detail they've realised, because nearly every goal came from these types of shooting positions on goal. And yeah, the kids, a goal and an assist, one goal, 2 goals, 1 assist. Incredible performance. The dribbles, the skill, the turns. 19 years old. Wow. And he's just got better and better as the season's gone on. 2025, he's been one of the best players in Europe at 19 years old. Yeah, there's pressure now on the French national team coach now to find a way to utilize this talent that he has in his possession now, because this is a guy that should be at the forefront of everything French football. I mean, we're witnessing the start of, I think, one of the generation's best talents. And the only disappointment, as I was saying, was that he wasn't allowed to really just make history by trying to get that hat-trick, because you never see things like that. And from that point on, man, Inter Milan were just completely destroyed. Paris Saint-Germain moved their blocks back a little bit, played on the counter-attack. Kvaratskhelia scored a great goal. And, you know, for the stuff he was doing for the team today, the work rate he put in, my lord. He was coming back, winning these balls off Dumfries, time and time and time again. He was doubling up alongside Nuno Mendes. This is what I'm saying about when you have a manager that makes everyone win. No one feels like they're sacrificing their game to make someone else better. This is how you truly create the best possible team, yeah? This is why everything works at Paris Saint-Germain. And I think the icing on the cake too was their academy grad. Great to see an academy grad, a guy who's been getting more involvement as Paris Saint-Germain won the league a long time ago, really showcasing that Paris Saint-Germain are more than just buying great players. Yeah, they're have one of the greatest, youth setups in Europe as well. And it's great that that was also highlighted and showcased in a famous evening for Paris Saint-Germain. So my friends, that's everything I have to say. It's a long review. It could be literally double the time. There's so many things I want to discuss. But honestly, just to end it again, we need to really savor what we've seen today, because you will never probably see something like this again. This was special. This was total football. This is one of the perfect performances a lot of us have ever seen. And I have to just say, incredible congratulations to Paris Saint-Germain for what they have achieved this season and what they've achieved for football. So my friends, if you guys gas about the final, hit that like button, share your thoughts and opinions, let us know your favorite moments, let us know what Paris Saint-Germain's Champions League wins now means for the rest of Europe, because they've raised the bar now. The bar is you can't even see it on the screen right now. That's how high it is. Who's going to rise to that challenge now? Yeah? So I hope you guys enjoy. Lots of love. Cool.